Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this video, I am going to talk about something that could easily have people giving a knee-jerk type of reaction, but that's not what I'm going for, because this video is really embodying what this channel is about, and that is deeper thought. It is the think tank aspect of it. Because the base question of is God good is only in a very general sense type of question. I'm not even going to try to define what a God is, although that would be a necessary first step for anybody in the comments section that wants to give the knee-jerk reaction of yes. You would have to be able to explain why and what constitutes a God. Because I'm looking at this in a more abstract type of way, in the aspect as well as the scientific way of, in our universe, which came first, order or chaos? All of the evidence seems to point to it started with chaos. And if that is accurate, then wouldn't that mean if a God is behind it that that God is a figure of chaos? Which, going by the religious type of mindset, wouldn't that make the God evil? Just that's one base question that I'm putting out there. Because another aspect of this is, if you have a God type of thing, whatever that would be, and it is arbitrarily declaring that everything that it does is good because it is the most powerful, what is it that constitutes what is good? Is it based solely on how powerful the one making the claim or making the statement or doing the action is? Does the power that they have override any moral implications? Basically, can moral implications be damned if the one that is doing X action is more powerful than any other? And if that is the direction that people want to go, then how can they not say that the God that they are bowing to is actually an evil figure? Because it is a bit of a paradox, I will admit that, but it raises the question of basically the chicken and the egg, which came first. This is about the order or chaos, but it is also the idea of chaos theory, as well as what constitutes something that is good. Isn't that based on a very subjective point of view? That we as a society have determined that certain things are good and certain things are bad because of the impact they have on other people. But are those things, in a sense, good or bad if you put aside the aspect of other people, like in the case of with animals? Because for some people, the death of an animal is kind of, oh well. Like even in the aspect with scientists, animals are used as test subjects, guinea pigs, lab rats. So their death seems to not matter in the scheme of things to science or to some experiments. One experiment that comes to my mind that was very unethical was involving two rabbits. One was a mother rabbit, the other was a baby rabbit, and they were put in separate locations, and then the baby was killed, and the mother went crazy the exact moment that the baby was killed. And that experiment was done in order to see if there was a connection that surpassed time and space and all of that. It's extremely unethical. And the same type of experiment being done with humans would be seen as completely immoral and absolutely evil. Is it the same with animals? And if it's not, why not? Is it because we're human that we put more value on human life than animal life? Because if so, that again is very subjective. That if a God would exist and would think the same way that we do, then why would it regard human life as anything more than like a lab rat? Whereas it would regard its own type of existence or those like it as having more value than ours. That all of this connects and points to a bigger, broader questions and implications that religion does try to go into. But I think the answers that are given with religion are very unsophisticated to uneducated. They're not deeply thought out. The broader implications, I think, are not really looked at. And it is something that I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, especially in this matter. Because can you have a figure that is good, yet behaving in ways that we would deem as negative or evil, but yet to itself and to others like it would be regarded as good or necessary, as well as the aspect of which came first, order or chaos? And because it does seem that with science, I think it's the second law of thermodynamics, that things are moving towards chaos. So could it be that the universe came from chaos and moved to order and is ultimately going to move back to chaos? I don't know. These are things that I'm curious what other people think in this regard. Because there's also, like you see in the picture, the yin and yang symbol, the battling opposites, the positive versus negative, light versus dark, day versus night. All of that is a dualistic battling or dualism, and both sides are dependent upon the other. That if you annihilate the one, you annihilate both. That you can't have one without the other. And is order and chaos much along those lines? And if that would be the case, then how could anyone have that they could go along with the idea of Christianity in the aspect of the God and Satan being battling opposites, but that the one will annihilate the other? Because no one, I don't care what religion you are or what belief system you have, no one is all good, just like no one is all evil. We have aspects of both good and evil within all of us. The potential, the seeds of good and evil lurk within every single one of us. So to try and say that, like, in an afterlife you're going to be all one way or all the other, it doesn't seem to jive with what we know about actual life. If this would be the case in an afterlife, wouldn't we see representations of it in life? If there would be something that, especially if it's coming from a God, and that we have to make some kind of choice, wouldn't it make more sense that there would be, in a sense, more evidence to help us make a choice? But overall, I'm more looking for the input that I get from this than anything. I'm not trying to give definite answers myself because in this regard, I don't know. I am brainstorming in the aspect of order versus chaos, to use the term good versus evil, the dualism type of ideas. I'm really wanting to know what you think. And if you like this video, hit that like button and feel free to share this on social media. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you later, people.